Hi, so welcome to this creative writing series where essentially I just test out prompts. I give myself 25 minutes and I have to, within that period of time, write on that prompt, try to finish some kind of short story or some kind of piece of poetry or some kind of scene, try to round it all out and see if I can do it. It's a challenge. It'll help me, I hope, become a better writer. It'll also hopefully demystify this process of writing as a solitary act. Because, yeah, oftentimes when we write, we feel very embarrassed about the little mistakes that we make as we go. So don't worry too much about the little mistakes. You'll see that I'm probably kind of trying to push myself as well to kind of not think too much about what I'm writing. Just allow myself to write and just allow myself to kind of create, and then later I can kind of excavate it for something that's valuable, or if it's not valuable, that's okay. The process is what's important, right? The actual exercise. Okay, so I've just finished the first writing prompt, which essentially asked me to write a short story about 250 words to 300 words with the phrase. I'm forgetting the phrase now. With the phrase, "I won't be the one to say a word," right? And so essentially, it was yeah, it's a good prompt. It was hard. I have actually, just to kind of to let you know, I've done this twice, right? The very first time, it was very difficult to figure out what I was writing until the very end, and then I had to kind of rewrite the very beginning. You probably saw me do that. You'll probably see me do that as well with this structure in terms of like the gender, right? With the gender pronouns. I try not to put character names to it because I don't know, I don't want to spend too much time thinking about names. So I might have to get a list of names next time. But yeah, I think it was generative. It helped me kind of envision a character and a situation that wasn't fully fleshed out in the actual short story, but just had snippets of it. And it started off with a flashlight. So being thrown at somebody. So I guess that's something to be said. Okay, so this is my attempt at writing a prompt. The prompt essentially is write a 250 to 300 word short story that ends with "I won't be the one to say a word," right? And essentially, the goal of this is to write a full-fledged piece in 25 minutes. Let's see if I can do it. All right, timer is starting now. Okay. Shit. Okay, I think I have an idea. The idea I have comes from a situation that occurred in my building, my apartment complex, a little while ago, where a friend of mine got hit with a flashlight. So let's start with that. Uh, It'll make more sense. Okay. Oh, shoot! I just got it right. As he was. Okay. Shoot. Okay. Come on, Mark. As he was hiking away, the flashlight hit him in the back of the head. Oops. Flashlight. I wonder if flashlight is a trademark name. So the flashlight hit him in the back of the head, prompting a series of thoughts. Ooh, this is not the same size. Text, font, speech. Doesn't matter. Okay, I'll figure that out later. Prompting a series of thoughts, series of rumination. Why a flashlight? What was it about the phallic object that metaphorically represented his situation? As he biked away, he could see his friend standing on the corner of the street with his arms just depressed at his side. a lemonade stand. Lemonade. Oh my god. Lemonade. Lemonade stand. Tending a lemonade stand. Whoops, that was depressed at his side as though he were a child attending a lemonade stand. With no in the hot, hot sun. You were a child who'd been attending a lemonade stand for hours in a hot, hot sun. Oh, that's not bad, actually. We'll see. We'll see at the end. But the metaphor... Oh, this is going to be a real philosophical kind of piece, I guess. The metaphor was... The metaphor was what really struck him. Or was it a type of synecdoche? Synecdoche. What? Synecdoche. Ah, I spelled it wrong. Or was it a type of synecdoche? Broken bone. Oh no, I know. An amputated limb. Nah, I don't think a penis is a limb. Synecdoche, an amputation of sorts. Kind. Asked. Look. For what in the world? Geez, his own masculinity and for what in the world at all had mattered. This word world and it, these two kind of very abstract noun and pronoun constructions together seem a little awkward, but I'm just going to leave it for now, right? Just because I want to get to the end. Was it a type of synecdoche, an amputation of sorts, the kind that asked him to look at his own sexuality, his masculinity, that for all that it was worth, seemed at most an empty bucket, or cross, an empty cross, huh? For all it was worth, seemed at most an empty bucket or cross, but at the least was for all that it was worth, seemed at most an empty bucket or cross, but at the least a faction of a self that couldn't quite make it up. Couldn't quite make up its own value. Ooh, that's weird. Back then, his friend... Oh, no. It was... Actually, there we go. It was only a couple weeks ago when his friend had started pulling up the floorboards. It's believing there were microphones embedded in the tile, in the woodwork. In the woodwork in the frame. He'd already yanked the light fixtures. His television After being sucker punched. Such. I gotta go back to this metaphor. The whole idea of this piece actually seems to be coming around an absurd situation that leads to somebody who thinks way too much to then just dive deeper and deeper into their own obsessive rumination. I think that's kind of where this piece might be going. So I need to kind of continue this and then hit this point of I won't be the one to say a word. How do I do this? But the metaphor was what really struck him. What was the type of synecdoche? Oop, that actually needs a question mark. An amputation of sorts, the kind that asked him to look at his own sexuality, his masculinity, that for all that it was worth seemed at most an empty bucket. All that it was worth. Oh, this is so empty. How much time is left? 16 minutes, okay. Might make up its own value. Left his friend. No, it's not a lemonade stand. Who'd been. That's a fine metaphor. It's okay. I don't know. Okay, keep going, Mark. I'm getting into the point of time where I'm second guessing this entire piece. But gotta force my way through. 15 minutes left. 15 minutes left. Or 14 minutes left or something like that. Bucket or cross, but at least. What does this mean, an empty cross? There's something there. Long time. I know where I'm going. Was this... there we go. I know where I'm going. Wonder if he were queer. This wasn't the... Shoot. This is not meant to be a joke. It's not... Wonder if he were queer. he'd known it quite some time, but that's the problem with friends. They have that looks like a awkward structure. They have a static picture of you in their heads, and you continue forcing yourself to be, and you force yourself to be what they want, even though hands, and you force yourself. And there's something interesting with this image, but I can't figure it out. The moment that made him wonder if he were queer. He'd known it for quite some time, but that's the problem with friends. They have a static picture of you in their heads, and you force yourself to be what they want. This needs a metaphor here. You force yourself, and you become... And that picture and that image restrains you. And that image restrains you. Concocts. Oh, here we go. Concocts. Understand. Reality was never your own. And you've only lived in a brotherhood. And in a conditional brotherhood. You've lived in a conditional brotherhood. In a brotherhood with conditions attached. Those conditions to continue in a structure, forging, to be a static lifeline and forceful recapitulation of what you once were. Oh no, actually a forceful recapitulation is good because it actually implies a little bit of being what you once were. Believing that it was only a couple weeks ago when his friend had started pulling up the floorboards, believing there were microphones embedded in the frame. He'd already yanked out the light fixtures. His television lay sprayed after being sucker punched. He had left in the end. No, this is confusing now. I guess this is why we have proper nouns. Also, I don't like all these sort of he. Continue in the structure of your own forging. Maybe this is not good. Alright, well. 10 minutes left. Okay. And I need 250 words. That's about 250 words to 300 words. So I need something that's going to structure it here. This wasn't the moment when he questioned his sexuality. There we go. This wasn't the moment. He'd known for some time that he was queer. That's a problem with friends. They have the static picture of you in their heads, and that image restrains you, concocts you, makes you understand that your sexuality was never your own, and you've lived in a brotherhood. And you've been living. Actually, it's not just a brotherhood in a brotherhood. A family. No. Let's see. You know what? They're two men. So, cis men. So I think we can kind of stick with brotherhood. With conditions attached. Those conditions continue your own forging. To be a static lifeline. A forceful recapitulation. Forced. A recapitulation. It means to be obsequious down to your very core. Your very core. Maybe this is what it is. I need to start. I gotta change this to I. Hit him. Hit me. Goodbye. My situation. As I biked away, I could see my friend on the corner of the street with arms depressed at his side as though he were a child who'd been attending a lemonade stand for hours on a hot sun. But the metaphor was what really struck me. Or was it a type of synecdoche, an amputation of sorts, the kind that asked me to look at my own sexuality? No, that doesn't need a comma. Question mark. His masculinity, my masculinity, for all it was worth, seemed at most an empty bucket or cross, but at least I like this idea of the cross, an empty cross, the concept of a sort of image, or the concept of a empty symbol, religious symbol. Yeah, that makes sense. But at least a faction of a self that couldn't quite make up its own value. This wasn't the moment when he questioned his sexuality. He'd known for quite some time he was queer. Yeah, but that's the problem with. Oh, sorry, I gotta change it. I questioned my sexuality. I had known for quite some time that I was queer. But that's the problem with friends. They have a static picture of you in their heads. Wait, my masculinity for all that was worth. It's a faction of a self that couldn't make up its own value. Okay. Heads in that image restrains you, concocts you, makes you understand that your sexuality was never your own. Actually, it's not just your sexuality. Your existence was never your own. And you've been living in a brotherhood with conditions attached. Those conditions to continue your own forging. And now this really doesn't work. In a brotherhood, in a sisterhood, or brotherhood, sisterhood. Living in a sisterhood. Oh, actually, I know what it is. Oh, I can see my friends doing it. On her side. There we go. As if she were a child who'd been attending a lemonade stand for. Yeah. Those conditions to continue your own forging. Actually, you know what? This is good. Aha. Oh, when my friend had started pulling up the floorboards, believing there were microphones embedded in the frame. He blanked out the yike pictures and I couldn't continue. Oh, then why does she have a flashlight? Do we change it to dildo then? Nope. No, we don't. It was only a couple of weeks ago when my friend had started pulling up the floorboards, believing there were microphones embedded in the frame. She already yanked out the light fixtures, and I couldn't continue living there. Knowing that my words would always be... Aha! There we go! Oh my god! How much time do I have left? Yikes! I have like 3 minutes. 4 minutes. Okay, 4 minutes. Knowing that my words, that thing I said would be turned into a crux of my existence. Some residue of how I had never been good enough, and never could be good enough. This is a little bit, I said, would be turned into a crux of my existence. Some sort of metaphorical representation of my fucked up childhood. Fucked up body. No. My body. Body structured as it was under a system of signs kept. No, why do you do that? Why does it do that? Keep. Ah! Sorry, that my camera only lasts for 20 minutes for some reason. And then it stops. Shoot, I have 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Structured as it was under a system of signs that kept me. Or even expressing. What? A quintessence, infinitesimal. Oh God, infinitesimal. No. Infinitesimal. Or expression, even expressing. Oh my God, structured as it was under a system. So it kept me from. Oh, this is just words under word signs. That's okay. I can't. System of signs or post-it notes, or even post-it notes. Contended that I necessarily was. Oh no. No. Say. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, now I gotta edit real quick. As I was biking away, the flashlight hit me in the back of the head, prompting a series of rumination. Why a flashlight? What was it about the phallic object? No, it's not the phallic object. It is the exact opposite of the phallic object. But the... I don't know what this word is. The opposite. The phallic object. As I biked away, I could see my friend standing on the corner of the street with arms depressed at her side, as though she were a child who had been attending a lemonade stand for hours under a hot sun. But the metaphor was what really struck me. Or was it a type of synecdoche, an amputation of sorts, the kind that asked me to look at my own sexuality, my masculinity, and for all it was worth, seemed at most an empty bucket or cross, but at least a faction of a self that couldn't quite make up its own value. This wasn't the moment when I questioned myself. This wasn't the moment that drew me to question. Dang it! And that's over. That is 25 minutes. Anyways, I hope that was somewhat instructive. Next time I'm going to make sure that my phone is off and then just put my timer on so I can kind of like watch myself, and then I'll just kind of do a little dinger. But that was an interesting prompt. I think I'd had the impression, because it was in quotation marks, that somebody had to say it. And actually, when I took it out of quotation marks and plopped it at the end of this piece, I actually felt like it worked. And the reason why I felt like it worked is because there's a sort of what became it. I didn't think about this when I was writing it, but what became about it is that how sexuality and masculinity and these kind of concepts became a word, and how that person is stuck within that construction, that symbolic construction, and that they're unable to kind of like relieve themselves or get out. So, yeah, I think that actually worked. It's not great. There are obviously a lot of mistakes, but that's the generous process of that, or not the generative process. Anyways, I hope that was fun for you as it was for me. I'm gonna keep trying to upload these and play around with different prompts. Let me know what you think, and yeah, bye. So here's the final piece that I was able to write after 25 minutes, and you can see that it's the language is quite verbose. It's kind of pretentious, and actually a lot of it is obfuscating the kind of the real meaning of that is really indicative of this character's issues. So I think I did a little bit of an edit afterwards just to kind of like pull it back, calm it down, simplify it, and I think it's actually quite a lot better. You can pause this and read it if you like, but this is the final piece. It's not the final piece. This is after, an hour of writing, and we have a couple, 3 paragraphs. It just goes to show you how slow writing is as a process. Anyways, I hope you enjoy.